Let's talk about it. This is the podcast where Jamie and Kirsten talk about everything.
No limits, no boundaries.
Join us while we talk about what really goes on in our lives.
Anything goes.
So without further ado, let's talk about it. Hello.
Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About It. How are we feeling to be back?
We're back. I feel like we really need to get our fucking shit together, okay?
We really
Well,
do.
We're here. We'll explain why we took a little break, but
Yes,
it's good to be back.
it is great to be back.
Good evening, you sexy fuckers.
Good evening, you sexy fuckers. How are we doing tonight?
Feeling good, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's just feels great to be back at it. I missed it last week.
I really did too.
I always miss it. Every time we take a little break, I always miss it.
I'm feeling really stuffed. I'm honestly like about to throw up. It's fine.
I feel that I just like smashed half a family-sized bag of Chex Mix on my own, so
I
that
just
was my dinner.
whipped up a gourmet meal.
Yeah, it
Let me
it
tell
looked
you.
great. It looked great.
Oh my god, it was so good. Which
Yeah.
brings me to a little backstory to me cooking dinner tonight.
Of what?
About before I went to the store.
Oh, yeah.
So I got like no sleep last night. So I did a lot of my Christmas shopping today. Just to get it done and over with. I came home and I took a little nap, and as soon as I woke up I was like, oh my god, like I'm so hungry, like I need to eat now.
I feel like my tits are like hanging out of this fucking shirt. Sorry, carry on.
And I was like, I'm just gonna run to the store and like get ingredients to make this little dish. And I had a hat on.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I literally woke up maybe 5 minutes before this, so I'm like still a little groggy.
And you rarely wear that type of hat, I feel like.
Yeah.
I've never seen you in that hat, so.
Yeah, I rarely wear like a baseball cap.
Right, I had a spare of one that I got, so I gave it to you, but.
Thank you.
Sure.
But what the hell was that?
Huh?
I just heard this noise in my house, and I'm here by myself. Oh,
Hate
sorry.
that. Hate that.
Anyways, back to my story. I was walking to my car, and it was like 8 o'clock, so it's dark out.
Right.
And I look up, and I see someone by my car, and I'm like, oh my god, like this person's wearing like a baseball cap. Like I'm about to get like attacked by Joe Goldberg from
right.
From you.
Yeah.
Like my heart was racing. My fight or flight immediately kicked in, and it took me maybe 15 seconds to realize that it was my shadow. And I was so embarrassed. Like I was ready to fight for my life.
That's so funny. No, I love that. That's everything.
Speaking of Joe Goldberg, I need you to watch You.
I know. I've
bad.
been saying I'm gonna watch it because I'm like watched the first 2 seasons, whatever, loved it. But I've been watching some other shows at the moment, and I need to make some time to sit down and watch the 3rd season of You. I need to do it, so.
I took a little break from You before I finished it because I heard Exile was in the song Exile was in the last episode.
Oh, we love.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Was in the last episode, and that song makes me pain.
Yeah.
Ouch.
For sure.
Oh no. So I avoided watching it for a couple days because I was like really close to the end. Like I literally watched 3/4 of the season in one day.
Yeah.
But I literally have no words to describe season 3.
I gotta
and you need to watch it. And whoever is listening that hasn't watched it, go watch it. I will never be the same.
Yeah.
the cast of You is just absolutely phenomenal, embodies the characters. Penn
Yeah.
and Victoria, like,
Yeah.
being the two lead roles,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely incredible.
Right. For sure. We love.
We love.
So yeah.
Anyways, how was your week?
It's really great. So before we jump into weekly check-in, I want to give a big shout out to the Canadian listeners. We're having a spike in Canadian listeners.
We love
So
that.
shout out to the Canadians. We see you. How was my week? So should we just
Oh, should we address why we weren't here last week?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, so that I guess kind of my
Goes
fault.
into the
Once
no,
again, it's always me.
no, we could have done it. Like, I was the
it-
time difference we didn't really prepare for.
yeah, I wasn't really thinking of that when we
Like, but then again,
decided.
it was like 7 p.m. for me, and I was like, oh, I'm so ready for bed.
I know, yeah. But yeah, so I guess let's just get into it. I traveled a little bit last week. I was in Denver visiting my sister. Shout out
We
to
love Brianna.
Brianna, we love her. I got to see her new house. She just moved there not too long ago. So got to see the new house. It was great.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, super fun time. I have a few things written down about my trip that it doesn't get too exciting until on the way home something really embarrassing happened, but
While you pull that up, do you want to also include after this your week before that, since we missed a week?
what did I do the week before that?
21 Pilots.
Oh, I did see 21 Pilots, didn't I? Yeah, took a trip down to Columbus with my dad. He's a big 21 Pilots fan.
I
So
love that for Ron.
yeah, so I took him to 21 Pilots, and it was a great time as always.
Ron
Love.
was killing it in the pit.
He was loving his life in the pit. He got like front row for the B stage, so he was like taking pictures and shit, and he loved it. So yeah, so I was in just like the main stage pit, and I was like a couple rows back, and I should have known, like, I've been in a 21 Pilots general admission pit several times, but it never fails to shock me how fucking rough it is in there. Like, I swear to God, it's like you have to, it's like you gotta, I feel bad because I'm nice, but you can't be nice in that pit. Like, you have to fucking shove people. And it was really frustrating because this one guy who was literally like, I swear to God, 7 feet fucking tall. So he was like behind me, and I was making friends with the girls next to me. Fun fact, I actually camped with them my last 21 Pilot show I went to.
Oh, wow.
Like 2 years ago, and I saw them. I was like, we definitely like sat next to each other for like 2 days while we camped out for the last show. And they were like, oh my God. And yeah, so I was like catching up with them, and then so the show's about to start, and this fucking asswipe behind me. I'm like pretty nice, you know, if someone says, oh, my friend's up there, can I squeeze past? I'm like, yeah, go for it. I don't fucking care. But this motherfucker, he's like, oh, excuse me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Tell me why he steps in front of me and just stops, just stands there. And I can't fucking see anything in front of him because he's so tall. So I'm like standing there. I'm like, okay, well, this is fucking annoying. And he wasn't wearing a mask. Like, it was just pissing me off. Like, it was just wear your mask. Like, I'm trying to be nice, but like, he was just not a very hygienic person in general. And he didn't have a mask on. It was just gross. And I was like, this is just fucking annoying. But once like the show starts, everyone fucking moves forward, and you end up moving up like fucking 6 feet anyways.
Which I hate.
It's like you can't even avoid it. You just have to go with it. And then yeah, the show was great until like halfway through. The drummer, he like goes on top of the pit. Like, everyone holds him up while he drums, and so it's so stupid.
That
Like,
sounds so dangerous.
it's just a thing. They've always done it. And so people are so fucking stupid. Like, he was all the way like on the left side. Like, no one in my area is getting over there. Like, it's not happening. And so I'm just like chilling, like sitting there minding my own business, like watching him get ready to drum. And all these stupid idiots, like, I'm so, like, heated about it. They all, like, try to go that way, and I'm like, just fuck off. Like, you're not going to be able to move. We're all so close together. There's no physical way you can get over there.
Right.
And so I'm just standing there, like, whatever. And this fucking girl, you know, like I said, I try to be nice, but this fucking girl, she tries to squeeze past me and, like, get in front of me. And I swear to God, I fucking elbowed this girl so hard because she was in my fucking business, first of all. Second of all, she was trying to get in front of me, and I'm like, no. So I fucking, like, threw an elbow, and she went right fucking where she came from, behind me, like, don't try and cut in front of me. Like, it's annoying. Like, just fucking relax. Like, what is one person in front? Like, I don't get it. You're moving like an
Right.
inch forward. What does that do for you? Like, I don't know. But other than that, it was a great time. That was like the only interesting thing I did that week. And
Not
then
bad.
this past week, like I was saying, went to Colorado. Pretty basic stuff. I mean, we went hiking and shit, which I'm not a very outdoorsy fucking person.
That's all right. It's not for everyone.
I'm really not outdoorsy, and so I kept up, you know. I went on hikes with my sister, whatever. It was a great time. I'm just like, I don't sit back and appreciate nature because it just really doesn't do anything for me. So it's tough because she lives in the middle of nowhere. Like, she lives on top of a fucking mountain with like nothing around her.
I
And
really love that for her.
I was like, how the fuck do you do this? There's nothing. And so it was fun though. We spent a day in the city, and it was great. And then there's this one game I
Wait.
want to. What?
I just
What?
I just thought of the video that you sent me of your sister singing on
She really tries to be the main character, huh?
when you sent that to me, I was literally pissing my pants.
Yeah.
Her singing on the patio.
She tries to be the main character in everything and just fails every time. Not Brianna, my other sister. She tries a little too hard to just be different and quirky, and it doesn't work, but just makes everyone fucking laugh. But so yeah, it was a great time while I was there. We played this card game that I have to recommend to anyone listening. It's called Dutch Blitz. Just buy it. I can't even explain it to you. The only word I can use is just pure fucking chaos is this card game.
I was about to say fun, and I was about to be like, "You're a weenie."
Fun. No, it is
Pure
fun.
fun.
It is fun. It's really fun if you have like, you gotta have intense music playing. My sister and her husband play it all the time, so they have a whole playlist on Spotify
I love that.
that they put on while they play the game, and it's just so fun. So Dutch Blitz, buy it because it's such a fun game. But I want to talk about, as we know, I have several like things at airports. Not necessarily pet peeves, but things. Just I love a good airport story.
You love shitting your pants at airports.
Yeah, that's another thing that I
I'm
should
sorry,
talk about.
I had to
No,
call you out.
let's take it
No,
there
because
because
I've been there. I've been there.
it happens every time, and I'll tell you what it is. I get Starbucks before I go to the airport every fucking time, and it was on the way to Denver. I stopped at Starbucks on the way and got a fucking grande iced Americano and decided to down that on my way to Cleveland. And so I get to Cleveland and I'm standing there waiting in line, and I'm like, fuck. So I like run to the bathroom really quick. Not good. Not a good time. I'm like sitting on the toilet like, there's no fucking way this is happening right now. Like, there were people in the bathroom with me. And I was like, I'm sorry, but like, what do you want me to do about it?
Were
Like,
you loud?
Yeah. Like, what do you want me to do about it? So like, it had to happen, and then
Oh, you really let it rip, huh?
there was nothing I could do. I had fucking a double shot of espresso. Like,
You know, what I do is by TSA in the Cleveland airport, they have a single stall bathroom, and
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I learned that after I almost shit my pants
Oh
walking
my,
through
good to
TSA.
know. I just offended a full fucking bathroom of people.
I literally don't know what it is about airports, but I shit my pants every time
I
too.
know. I know.
Like literally, it's just like I
Um,
pull into the parking lot and I'm like, oh, here we
yeah.
go. Here we go
Yeah.
again.
So that was a thing on the way there, and then two things for when I was at the Denver airport, waiting to come home.
You went to the Denver airport?
I did, yeah, the crazy airport.
The crazy airport.
It
Did
was
anything
just
spooky happen to you?
nothing spooky.
Any like
Just
dead end halls?
no, just a bunch of fucking assholes. I swear to God, everyone who works at that airport is so rude for no reason, and I was upset. Like, so this is off topic to what I was gonna say, but just going on that statement of everyone who working there being assholes. So I like go through whatever I'm going through security, and as anyone does at any airport, you take your laptop out of your carry-on.
Right.
You put it in a separate bin.
Yeah.
So I'm get ready to unzip my book bag. There's no one behind me. Like, it was just me going through. And this fucking mean girl who worked there, she's like, you don't have to do that. I'm like, no, like, I'm getting my laptop like out of my bag, to put. She's like, you don't have to. And I'm like, okay. So
she girl, if she don't want to do her job, then shit.
right. So I was like, okay. So I like zipped it back up or whatever, and she was like rushing me, and I'm like, there's no one behind me. Like, what are you rushing me for?
Oh no.
I was so irritated. It's like, you're the reason that people fucking hate airports, because you try and stress everyone out for no reason. Like, can we all just relax? You know what I mean? So I was kind of pissed. Like,
Can we just relax?
Like, that shit just irritates me. Like, just calm down. Why is everyone in such a fucking hurry all the time? But so that was that, and then I get to my like gate, and I'm sitting there. And I sat next to this so there's this super hot guy, and he was sitting on the end, and there was a bunch of seats next to him, so I was like, okay. So I sit down, there was like one seat in between us, and I put my bag on that seat, and this hot guy had a dog that he was flying with. This dog was so cute, and so the dog like automatically comes up to me, and I'm like petting it. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like, what's her name? And so I was like talking with him. He's super hot. And then so
you don't say.
The dog decides to lay down right next to my feet. And so for the next like hour that I'm waiting, all these people keep coming up to me asking questions about the dog because they think it's mine. And I'm like, bro, this is not my dog, it's his. And so I was like so uncomfortable. It happened like 10 times. People came up to me.
That's so funny.
And I was like, it's his dog, dude. Like, it's not mine.
You should have just like, how funny would it be if you just like were like, yeah, like she's like,
he would think I'm so weird. But no, so that was the thing that happened.
He knows me.
Yeah, I really had like my Wattpad moment though. I was YN. Like,
YN.
It was really my main character moment. And then another thing I think this will go down as one of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened to me in my life. So get on the airplane. I have a window seat, and no one else was next to me yet. I'm like, all right, sick. So this one lady, older woman, whatever, she sits on the aisle seat. So the middle one's open. I'm like, okay. So these two.
Wait, where's hot guy sitting?
Which hot guy?
The one with the dog.
Oh, he's gone.
I thought he was sitting next to you.
Well, I was waiting to get on the plane.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were on the plane.
No. So this is another experience. So I'm sitting on the plane, sitting in my seat, and so I'm just minding my own business, texting you, and these two guys start walking down the aisle towards my row, and I'm like, fuck. And so the one in front just so happens to be British, and we know I've got a thing for fucking British people.
Love
And
a
so,
good English accent.
yeah, so I'm like, there's no fucking way, dude. There's no way. And so he looks at the thing and he
No
like thinks,
fucking way.
no fucking way.
Not my butchered British accent right there.
Yeah. So he's looking up at the thing and he thinks that the middle seat next to me is his seat. And I'm like, yes, dude, yes. So turns out his hot friend, who he was cute, just he wasn't British. The one standing behind him, he wasn't British.
Requirement British.
Yes. And it turns out it was his seat, not the British guy. The British guy was across in the other one.
Oh,
so I'm like,
motherfucker.
shit, man, that's a fucking bummer, but whatever. The guy's still cute.
Right.
So he sits down, I got my headphones in, I'm Snapchatting you. And so plane takes off, everything's going great. I fall asleep on airplanes so like quick. Like once I sit on an airplane and we go up, I like fall asleep. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I know. Literally fucking hurricane
Yeah.
outside, like tornado
And I'm just out
on the plane. I thought we were about to get struck down by lightning. You're just like sawing logs.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is, but I always sleep on airplanes. And so I fall asleep and it was like a 3-hour flight. And so I fall asleep for like the first hour. And then you're good. And then I wake up and I lift up the thing and it's fucking dark out. I'm like, oh, okay, we must be kind of close. We're back in like the general area. And so
Eastern time zone area.
Yeah. So we still had like 2 hours of the flight, which I didn't know. And so I fell back asleep. So 2 hours later, I wake up when the plane touches down. Tell me fucking why my head is on his shoulder. Completely on his shoulder. Like, so I wake up and I notice that I'm laying on him and I'm like, there's no fucking way this is happening right now.
How do you recover from that?
There's no way. And so I fucking jolt up really quick and I like look at him. I'm like, I am so sorry. And he laughed at me and he was like, no, it's okay, don't worry. And I was gonna ask how long I was laying like that, but I was too embarrassed and I didn't want to know, so I didn't ask.
Could you imagine if you were sleeping and he like pushes his shoulder up?
No, literally. So I'm like fucking mortified at this point. I was sleeping on this strange man's shoulder. And so like we touched down and we're like going, and I swear to God, like I was sat on that plane because we were way in the back. So I was sat there
so it takes forever to
for like 25 minutes. So I'm literally sitting there like this because I didn't want to like be weird. So I like wasn't touching him. I was fucking mortified.
That's even more embarrassing.
I will never recover from that. I fell asleep on him.
Did you like talk to him like while you guys waited?
Fuck no. I had my headphones in because I was already so embarrassed, and he laughed at me. He was like, oh no, you're fine, don't worry. But he was like laughing at me and I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
No, because he got off that plane and told his friend.
Of course he did.
No, because you guys were probably waiting for your bags. You're like, oh.
Yeah, no, so it was so embarrassing and I'm never gonna live it down.
I will never let you live that down.
I mean, I don't even want to know how long I was laying on this man's shoulder. I'm so embarrassed about it though. But it had to happen. Before we go on, I just remembered something that I should have said when I was talking about last week. The night before the Harry Styles concert, when I decided it would be a good idea to take my window AC unit out of the window.
I forgot about this. This is so fucking funny.
Yeah, I should have mentioned this. I'm just all over the place tonight.
Literally, when I woke up and saw the video that you sent me talking about it, I pissed my pants. Like, I've never laughed so hard in my fucking life just imagining it happening.
Yeah, so I decided my cat, she loves to sit in windowsills, and all summer I had my little AC unit in my window.
Windowsill by Zayn. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I had my little AC unit in the window all summer, so my cat couldn't sit in the windowsill. And that particular night, it was a little chilly out. I was like, okay, I think it's time to transfer back over to the windowsill. So I didn't realize that those AC units are held in place by the like window.
No shit. You don't
I
say.
didn't know that.
Jamie, I feel like
So,
that's so self-explanatory.
okay, well, we know I'm not the fucking brightest. So, I I'm so stupid. So the thing's still plugged in, keep in mind. Like it's still plugged into my wall. And so I lift up the fucking window and the fucking AC unit just fucking flies out the window, and like the cord that was attached to the actual AC ripped out of it because it was still plugged into the wall, and there was this huge like blue spark. And it just flew out the window and smashed into the ground outside, and I was just standing
The
there.
preface is that it flew down like 2 stories.
Yeah, and I was just standing there. I'm like, oh fuck. Like my dad's gonna be pissed. So I'm like standing there just like looking out my window staring at it, and I'm like, fuck. So like it's like in pieces on the ground outside. And so I'm like, okay. So I like go outside and I carry it back in. And I was like gonna try to hide it from my dad and just like tell him next year when I like was gonna put it back in my room. I was just gonna hide it for a year. And then so I move it upstairs. It was heavy as fuck too. I like carried it
Right.
upstairs and I put it in the spare bedroom. And then the next morning I felt too bad to hide it from him. So I told him, and he was a little upset.
I mean,
$300 AC unit literally out the window. So
literally.
he was so mad, but he's over it now. So yeah, that's just a little funny story that happened.
No, I was
Super
laughing so
embarrassing.
hard when I opened your video because you're like, so
I like didn't know what to do. Like I've never experienced something like this before. It was crazy. Anyways, I feel like I've been talking your fucking ear off for the last 20
I love
minutes.
it.
What's going on with you? What's happening?
Okay, not much.
Yeah.
Let's rewind 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything I'm about to say is so boring.
That's okay.
I feel like me and you have been complaining about our wisdom teeth for like months.
This is
So
true.
I finally was a big girl and called and scheduled to get them taken out. And
we're both gonna be getting ours taken out. This is crazy.
I realized when I woke up in the middle of the night that because I thought my teeth were falling out, that like
Yeah.
it's probably time. And
Yeah.
due to the fact that like the ones literally you could see it because ripping through.
Yeah.
And just like the constant nagging pain. But you might be taking me, I think, right?
Yeah, I can take you. Yeah.
Which would be like a fun little segment to include.
This will be great. I think maybe if depending on how you're acting, I might try and sneak some videos in, and we can upload them into the episode that we do.
That's what I was thinking.
It'll be funny. So
hopefully I'm not like too embarrassing.
You'll be all right.
I always act like a silly, goofy, girly pop when I'm on anesthesia.
I just get tired. I don't really act crazy or anything.
Last time I was on
What is it, super loud?
ASMR.
Is it loud?
Yeah.
Shit, okay. Sorry.
Last time I was on anesthesia, like well, that was a bad example because I almost overdosed last time. But
yeah.
When I had like a mouth surgery before, I just like cried the entire time, and I feel like you'll just laugh. Yeah, you'll just laugh at me if I cry.
I definitely will. I've only been like under anesthesia once, and I was just really tired. I wasn't like funny or anything.
I always respond, I'm either like cracking up or cracking up and crying at the same time. There's like no in between.
Yeah.
I got my COVID vaccine booster, which I'm really excited about.
Congrats. It's so exciting.
Right now in Ohio, if you're like in a certain age group, or if you work like with immune compromised people or in like a healthcare facility, you are eligible to get your COVID vaccine boosters. So if you are under any of those categories, I really do encourage you to go get your booster.
Do it.
Obviously it has to be like 6 months after your second dose. But I'm currently a mixed cocktail.
I love that. Yeah.
My first vaccine was Moderna, and then my booster was Pfizer.
Yeah.
I didn't really like have a bad reaction like I did the first time. I mean, obviously just like kind of like the body aches, like my arm fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Which didn't hurt because which didn't help that like I have a friend from work, and when she talks, she like punches your arm because she like talks with her hand. And I was like, girl, if you punch me in my arm one more time,
I would
going
freak
to cry.
out. Yeah, I would freak out.
Oh my god, I just thought of a story from work. I don't know if I think I told you this.
Which one?
So, there is this man that I see frequently.
Oh, yeah.
Very attractive man. Very not intelligent man.
Yeah.
And I saw him the other day, and I looked at my friend that was standing right there because he was gone. And I go, he's so hot, but he's so fucking stupid. It's like talking to a wall.
I mean, hey.
And she looks at me and goes, the wall is behind you.
That's so embarrassing.
And I turned around and he was standing right there. But what made it worse was he turned around too.
Shut up.
To look to see the wall behind him.
Oh, he's so dumb.
Which really just like proved my point.
Well, that's good though. At least he didn't know that you were talking about him.
Yes.
That's always a
that
plus.
Was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
What? Sorry.
Ringtones? No, you're good.
It's on my laptop. I don't know how to turn the ring off my laptop.
Yeah, mine does that with Twitter. Turned on that always go off.
What else did I do last week? Oh my god. Stop texting me. Sorry.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
It's my mom.
We love that. Connie, shut the fuck up.
Literally. Sorry.
Just kidding. We love you.
Sorry, girly.
Yeah.
Last week I had a mental breakdown about me being so irresponsible with money.
Did you?
After I almost bought wine glass charms.
Oh, that was another thing. I fucking roasted your whole life with that.
You really did. So
I didn't mean to. I really didn't mean it like that.
Sure.
I didn't mean it that way.
So Taylor Swift's Red version is coming out here next week.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm not ready.
Neither am I. Oh, sorry.
And she always got some like super dope merch.
Right.
So I'm like scrolling through her website and I see these things and I'm like, I don't get it, but I need them.
Right.
And they're just wine glass charms.
Just very like middle-aged single mom vibe. Like a single mom who like has a book club vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed them.
Yeah, you needed them.
Do you want to elaborate on what you said?
Okay, so she like we're on the phone and we're talking and she sends me this picture of the charms and she's like, oh my god, I need these. And what I said was what did I even say? I was like,
you said,
who are you gonna show them off to? You only drink by yourself.
You said you only drink wine alone. I show them off to.
I automatically regretted it. And it was just one of those things where my filter didn't work and I didn't have a filter. And listen, I think that's a testament to our friendship though, that we are just that blatantly fucking honest with each other.
I mean, like, you were not wrong.
It's just real. It's not. It's not reality.
It's reality.
I drink with you all the time.
I had to add
People would consider themselves lucky to drink wine with you, okay?
that's
Yes.
a stretch.
No, I'm serious.
That's a stretch.
But yeah, so I said that and I automatically regretted it, but it was just one of those things that I didn't even think before I spoke. I just said it. And it was funny. So, whatever.
I want everyone who's listening to keep in mind I only drink alone, like it's the reality for something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit.
Okay.
So let's keep that fresh in your memory.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something else I did last week.
Okay.
That really just traumatized me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So, my mom's whole family's from Cleveland. And I grew up going to the Valley, like the metro parks, with my grandparents, like when they would visit and stuff, and even when they moved back. And my aunts would take me there. Like, it was a very big part of my grandparents' life. Driving through the Valley. And
Right.
me and my mom went up there to get something from my aunt, who lives 2 blocks from the Valley.
Right.
So we were like, let's take my grandma and grandpa's ashes.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
So we could like spread them together, like somewhere that's like so significant to them and like memorable for them. So I wasn't like thinking.
Yeah.
And my mom's driving and she just hears me like yelling. Because bear in mind, it's a windy, rainy day when we decided to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm pouring my grandpa's ashes out the window as my mom is driving.
Right. I feel like it was just a bad idea from the beginning.
Yes. And these ashes flew back into the window and into my eyes.
It's just so fucked up.
I have never experienced such pain.
I bet.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Physically.
That's so tough. Like, you really got your
I've never felt
grandpa
closer. I
in
never
your
felt
eye.
closer to my grandpa in my life.
I'm sure you'll never be that close to
I don't
anyone.
think we've ever been. Right.
Yeah. To anyone, really. I mean.
Fucking traumatized me.
I bet. That's tough.
And then that fast. Speaking of my grandpa, I want to talk about grief and handling grief. I don't know if anyone else handles it the same way as I do. It's just not at all.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm very much, I have to take care of everyone around me before I take care of like the way I feel. So I just like repress everything.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to I don't want to feel things. I rather make sure like my mom's okay with like the fact that both of her parents are dead.
Right.
Which like obviously she's never gonna be like okay with that, but like
yeah, I mean it sucks.
Yeah,
no
but
matter
like,
what.
She is my top priority when it comes to like grief. Not me.
Right.
So my grandpa died almost a year ago from COVID. And up till like a month ago, really, is when I just finally kind of started realizing that like my grandpa's dead.
Yeah.
Like I had a really, really close relationship with my grandpa. I would venture to say like he was more of a father figure to me than my own father.
Yeah.
And I was his favorite.
Yeah.
He said it, not me.
Right.
But like, yeah, a month ago is when I first really started like, oh my God, it would like hit me out of nowhere. Like I would just remember, because I've always talked about my grandpa even after he died in like the present.
Right.
I'd be like, oh, he is.
Yeah.
And I think now is like a time where like my soul is okay and feels like safe to grieve him
Mm-hmm. Right.
and to do it in like the way that I feel comfortable doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to booking a reading with the psychic medium that I see.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about her on here before. I absolutely
Mm-hmm.
adore her.
Yeah.
We have something very exciting coming.
Yeah, we have something in the works.
Yes, in the
Look
works
out for it.
with her.
It'll be cool. I'm excited.
Me too. Nothing is really finalized right now. It's just
Yeah.
talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a reading with her Monday.
Mm-hmm.
She, well, before the reading started, I felt like so much anxiety, like over everything. Like I just was very anxious. As
Right.
soon as I answered the phone, she goes, "Why are you so like what are you worried about? Like why are you
It's
anxious?"
crazy. Yeah.
Um, she gave me a lot of insight
Yeah.
with like my life, and then of course like with my grandparents. I when my grandpa passed away,
Mm-hmm.
he came home on hospice after like fighting because with COVID, obviously they wanted him like
Right.
at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandpa was very adamant about dying. Like if when he dies, he wants to die like in his home.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally got him home, and he was so like in so much pain, but like so doped up that like he was very unresponsive to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one moment where he like looked me in the eye and then squeezed my hand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start crying.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
And when I had this reading, she goes, "Did your grandpa like have a hard time like really like responding and like recognizing people
Yeah.
when he died?" And like she goes, "He always recognized you."
Yeah.
And I like lost my shit.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think anyone would. That's just
She's like, "He knew you were there."
insane. Mm-hmm.
Um, but another really special moment of this
Mm-hmm.
reading
Yeah.
was she kept on like reiterating, it's okay for you to love like who you love,
Yeah.
like even though if it makes someone else uncomfortable. And when
Mm-hmm.
she said that sentence, my jaw fucking dropped.
Right.
And then she goes, "Do you understand what I mean when I say that?" And
Mm-hmm.
obviously I'm like
Yeah.
my like closeted queer self is like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I do.
Right.
Um I never had the opportunity to tell my grandpa that I am queer before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
It was always something that was really important for me to do, but I before he passed, I wasn't like really 100% like accepting of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like still figuring out like
Right.
what I was,
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
and I wasn't comfortable coming out.
Of course. I feel like
Um
everyone goes through that initial kind of stage where you're still
yeah.
trying to figure it out, and no matter what it is, it's weird to you and it's just like awkward and a
Mhm.
whole thing. So,
Um but when she was like, did like, do you understand what I mean by that? And I was like,
mm-hmm.
yeah, like I always had a hard time like trying to find the words to tell him and like didn't get the
Right.
opportunity to.
Yeah.
And she goes, he winks and says, "I always knew."
Yeah. Which is just so cute.
And he's like, it doesn't he's like, "I never changed the way I thought about you. I like still loved you." Like, and I was like, oh, like again, I was really worried about that. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Yeah, I always knew."
Yeah, I
Which,
love
like,
that.
thinking about back, like, there was a period of time where I literally would, like, you knew. Like,
Right.
you knew.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but she also brought up, do you, like, struggle about, like, the way your dad thinks about it?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, like, all the time, because I'm not, like, fully out to my dad,
Mhm.
nor do I, like, feel that I need to share that part of my life with him, because, like, he's not involved
Yeah.
with my life, so why am I gonna involve him in, like, something that's very special to me?
Right. I think that's totally fair.
Um, and Kathleen was like, it boils down to him being uncomfortable,
Mhm.
and, like, that's not an excuse.
Right.
And she goes, your grandpa said, but it's okay for him to be drunk all the time. It's okay for him not to deal with his trauma. It's
Yeah.
okay for him to not be there when his kids need him the most.
Mhm.
And then she goes, your grandpa just threw his hands in the air and said, but he doesn't want to talk about that. And I was like, oh my God. Like,
Call him out.
my dead grandpa is calling his son-in-law out, and I love it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So yeah, I'll try to, like, add some sort of clip
Yeah. Yeah,
from
for
my
sure.
reading
Mhm.
in here. But again, she is so amazing, and if
Mhm.
anyone is looking to
Yeah, if anyone's interested in getting a
get a
reading.
reading, I will link her below.
Mhm.
Um, something else that I did this week is I went to the movies by myself.
You did. I was so kind of bummed because I told
I
you I
was
would go
so
with you,
excited.
but it was the day I was flying home, so I couldn't go. But I'm
Yeah,
actually so proud of you. You're like so I love that. I think
I
that's
felt like
something
an
that everyone needs to
independent
do.
woman.
Yeah, go be independent and do things on your own. I love
Like,
it.
so many people from work were like, "You're going to the movies alone?" I was like, "Yeah, what
Yeah,
about
what
it?"
about it? Sorry, you're so insecure you can't go to the movies on your own. That's what I would have said.
I went and saw Eternals. It was premiere day, Thursday.
Yeah.
I cannot shut the fuck up about this movie. I
Yeah.
cannot say enough good things about it. The cast was absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
Gemma Chan, Angelina Jolie
Yeah.
really bodied their characters. And Angelina Jolie, her character itself, I would love to have, like, a Disney Plus series on it, or, like, a movie of her own, just because the details of her character are its own story. And
Right.
I just could not get enough of her.
I love that.
And Richard Nixon as Icarus, like, he was phenomenal.
Mhm.
The cast in general was just, as a whole, absolutely wonderful.
Mhm.
Chloe did a great job, like,
Good.
putting this film together.
Mhm.
Um, I can't wait to see, like, more to come
Yeah.
with this. I can't get enough of it, and I will
Yeah.
not shut up about how good it was.
I am like I feel like so out because I don't watch like Marvel movies. I watched that one with you, but I'm just not a part of that world. But that was the one that Harry Styles was in, and of course, me like everyone else on the planet saw it that it leaked. So I watched that little clip of him in it, and that was super exciting. I think that's a big deal. I mean,
That
I just
is.
like I don't know enough about it, but I'm pretty sure like the whole like Marvel universe is like a big thing. So to be involved in something like that is super super cool. So
Yes, he was in the end credit. He had about maybe like a minute and a half of screen time, which, like,
mhm.
I felt like a proud mom. I was like, go
Yeah,
off.
that's super cool. And
Like,
the
it made
fact
me
that this was
smile
shot
so
so long ago and it was like a secret for that long is crazy.
right. Like,
Like that's
it
wild.
really did make me, like, smile so big. I felt like a proud mom.
Yeah,
But
I know. I saw the leak on Twitter and I was like, "Oh, that's exciting." Like, yeah, super cool. So,
however,
there's something that you should talk about because I'm completely on board with this.
I was really pissed off
Yeah. Yeah, you were talking to me about this and I was
about
so
this.
surprised. I didn't know that this was like a thing, but
So when I was at the movies,
mhm.
It's opening night, so obviously, like,
It's packed.
it's packed.
Right.
And I am all in support. Like, if you want to go to see the movie just specifically to see Harry's, like,
Yeah, his scene,
scene,
great.
that is perfectly okay.
Mhm.
But do not distract and, like, other people or take away a
Right.
seat from someone if you don't want to be there.
Right. Yeah, cuz it's something you were
Um,
telling me that people were doing is just like so unnecessary.
yeah,
Like
the one girl in the theater that was, like, next to me, she was slept the whole time and had an alarm,
that's
like
so
the
crazy.
movie is like 2.5 hours long. So
It's honestly crazy.
she had an alarm go off at the end to
People are
wake her
nuts.
up to get, like, prepared for Harry's scene, which really pissed me the fuck off.
Like it's just kind of annoying. Like I
I'm
get
not
it
trying to be like, oh, like, gatekeep girl boss, but like,
no, like I
like,
get
that's
where you're
just
coming
ignorant. That's
from.
just
Like
ignorant.
sure she paid for her seat whatever, but it's like you're taking that away from someone who might have genuinely wanted to see the whole movie that didn't get the chance to because she wanted to sit there and sleep.
Yeah, and then there's a group of girls that were like, this is stupid. Like, I don't want to see this. I don't get it. Like,
Then
I don't
why are you
understand, like, the
there? Like
MCU stuff. Like,
I don't get
and
it.
specifically we're there for, like, Harry's scene, which is, like, again,
Totally
fine, but like,
fine, but don't be rude about that.
yeah,
Like, and I don't know. And that's kind of where, like, me, like, I didn't need to be there opening night. I'm not a huge, like, Marvel fan. I don't know anything about it. I watched Harry's scene on there. It was everywhere, first of all. It was
yeah,
on every social media thing you could think of. And so it's like, yeah, like, it's really nice to see him on the big screen. It's nice to, pay to see it, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, he is in like a minute and 30 seconds of it. It's a whole movie, it's a whole thing, like a whole franchise that's out. It's not Harry, it's Marvel.
hmm
And it's like a whole other like category of fans going for Marvel, not Harry. So, I don't know. It's weird.
yeah. But I absolutely loved the movie,
Yeah,
and
I probably won't see it to be honest. Like
honestly, I think you would really like Internals because
I just like I've never
to
seen any
me,
of it.
to me, I feel like you don't have to understand, like, anything with Marvel to, like,
Yeah.
I feel like you could watch it and you would enjoy it just as, like, a
We'll
whole.
see. I didn't mind Black Widow. I thought that was a great movie, so
I think I saw someone on Twitter talking about this too. Like, in some sort of way, the movie didn't feel like a Marvel movie, but it did at the same time.
yeah.
Um, but I haven't been able to, like, shut up about it.
Yeah, which is I'm so excited you got to see it. You were looking forward to it for a while, so
Yes, I was
that's good.
so excited. Kevin, if you somehow hear this, Dina needs her own series.
Period.
But characters in, well, actors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Mhm.
such as Angelina Jolie, who is new to it, and Tom
Mhm.
Holland.
Right.
I would love for them to be in a room together
Mhm.
because they are the king and queen
Yeah.
of Marvel spoilers.
Spoilers. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, cause I don't even know anything about Marvel, but I've seen these clips, and I'm like, that is so funny. Like,
I will never get over Tom opening that poster
the
on
poster in the back literally says "Do not share." Like,
confidential.
yeah, it's so funny. Like, that's such a meme. That's amazing.
Oh my god, but, like, the compilation of Angelina spoiling this movie is so
Yeah,
funny. Like, I would just
yeah,
love to see those two in a room together.
it's really funny. Yeah, I love that. So,
Speaking of Tom Holland,
yeah,
I've been wanting to talk about this for a while now.
okay.
What do you feel about Tom and Zendaya?
I mean, I just genuinely don't know enough about it. I've seen, I mean, I think they're such a cute couple, obviously. Like, it would be a power couple. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's just so blatantly fake. that it's hard to
Okay,
kind of
we're on the
believe
same
it.
page.
It's just
Yes.
it's the timing is just too specific.
Right, like Spider-Man's coming out soon.
The timing's a little weird. But if they're together, great. Like such a cute couple. If not, I don't care. Get your bag, like whatever. Get your coin.
I love Tom and Zendaya both so much.
Yeah.
That's
the thing. Like that's another thing. Like with Zendaya, she's so huge and famous, and
yes,
I literally feel so like out of the loop of everything relevant because like the only thing I've ever seen her in is that fucking circus movie. What is that movie called? The Greatest Showman.
Oh,
That's the only thing I've ever seen her in.
You
So
ever
I
seen,
like
Euphoria?
No, I've never seen any of it. I've seen one thing from Euphoria, but I've seen a certain part of one episode that
Oh, yeah.
but that was funny. But
Like Tom and Zendaya, I love them both as individuals, and in my brain, I'm just gonna try to convince myself that it's real. But like, obviously, it just seems like textbook PR.
It's I mean, it's
the timing.
It's either way, it's whatever.
Specifically, what really like sent me was there was an interview.
I saw this actually. I saw this going around
a movie that
Yeah.
Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya were in, and this clip is circulating of when she was asked a question about Tom.
Yeah.
And the look on Timothy's face, like really just like confirmed.
Yeah.
Like it's a stunt.
Yeah. So, I mean,
but like if they're actually together,
amazing. We love them.
Power.
Yeah, for sure. It's all good stuff.
One last thing that I want to talk about.
I mean, do we want to go off the rails? We have 2 talking points with what happened last night. And then the other thing with Zayn. Do we want to do both of those tonight or do we want to break it up?
Let's go off the rails.
Let's do it.
Okay, first let's talk about what happened last night.
You're gonna have to. I've just recently started reading about it,
so this morning I woke up to a lot of news headlines about Astroworld Fest, which is a music festival hosted by Travis Scott. That 8 people died.
Like what the fuck?
Which really like makes me sick.
It's insane. It's literally just the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And I read this girl's experience about what she happened to her. And it quite literally brought me to tears this morning, and I felt anxiety just reading it.
Yeah.
So I feel like we should just read it.
Please, yeah.
This girl's name is Sina Faith, or I think if I'm not pronouncing her name right, I apologize. But her post says, today on November 5th, 2021, it is a Friday. Who I am in the story is not important. Rather, it is important to the things that I have now witnessed. Astroworld, Houston, Texas. Travis Scott is the only one performing. I don't know how many people were at the festival, but I do know that every single person was at that stage. My friend and I wanted to be close to the stage, as close as we could possibly get. We were not able to get very close, but we did end up on the side near the walkway in the middle. Surrounding us were chest-high metal gates, barriers. We stood there for 2 hours, as did every other person. Every gap was filled. Where your feet were placed was where you stayed. Right. Energy rose, and the time neared beginning of the show. Within 30 seconds of the first song, people began to drown in other people.
Yeah.
There were so many people, tall men, women and men, where the only thing that they could see was the back of the person in front of them. The rush of people became tighter and tighter. Breathing became something only a few were capable of. The rest were crushed or unable to breathe. In the thick, hot air, my friend began to gasp for breath as she told me that we needed to get out. We tried. There was nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's no way you can get out.
The shoving got harder and harder. If someone's arms would have been up, it would have no longer been possible to put them back down. So people began to choke one another and the mass swayed. It became more and more violent. We began to scream for help. We could only see security just a few people over in the walkway in the middle. It got tighter, impossible to breathe, as our lungs were compressed between bodies of those surrounding us. More people began to scream for help, and some began to collapse. The music continued. Hundreds of people ripped their vocal cords apart, screaming for help, but they were not heard. There was nowhere to go. My friend was trapped between people on each side of her. She desperately tried to move towards the rail, but it was no use. The screaming intensified as people realized they could not breathe. We begged security to help us, for the performer to see us and to know something was wrong. None of that came. We continued to drown more and more. One person fell or collapsed. It did not matter how it started. Once one fell, the hole opened in the ground, and it was like watching a Jenga tower topple. Person after person were sucked down. You could not guess from which direction the shove of hundreds of people would come next. They were at mercy of the wave. I watched my friend be dragged away from me, and I lost sight of her.
Jesus.
I began to realize in that moment that there is a way to die, and for people not to know about it. Being trampled to death. I saw terror in every eyes that I met, even the ones that told me to breathe and to stay calm. We knew that there's a big chance that some of us would not make it out alive. I pushed away from the rail and the crowd of people where I could hear from another direction shrieks of animals. It was happening all around me. These sinkholes of people. I moved back towards the sinkhole, and I started at and was pushed to the edge of it. I sunk my feet into the ground, put my arms out, and tried to stop anyone from entering the circle or pushing away those already in it.
Mm-hmm.
I shoved further to the ground. My face was at the cold, hard plastic below us. I saw the body of a man, the face below mine. I lost it. There's people below, the ones I could see above. There was a floor of bodies of men and women. Below, 2 layers of fallen people above them. I began to shriek. I felt its hair rip through me, and I was not sure anyone understood the magnitude of the situation below. I screamed that there were people on the floor. There were people unconscious, being trampled by every foot slammed into the ground. As each individual tried to keep themselves upright, I saw his face. I became a shield for him. I think he smiled at me. Then I was shoved to the side. I saw more shoes slammed onto the ground in the exact spot where his body laid. Face up, I could not help him. I couldn't help any of them. I didn't stop screaming the entire time. No one there were people below those that could see. I was almost met with the same fate. He pulled me up, and I righted myself for the fraction of the second before I stuck back into the crowd. I couldn't take what I just saw. I had to get out somehow. I had to get help. I had to do something. Somehow I went towards the back of the crowd at the guardrail. A man pulled me over. There are some people just standing there like nothing was happening, like people weren't dead a few feet from me. I saw the cameraman, eyes glued to the stage, elevated on the platform, a platform that looked directly into the crowd. I climbed the ladder and pointed to the hole, telling him that people were dying. He told me to get off the platform and continued filming. I screamed over and over again. He wouldn't even look in my direction, so I pushed the camera so it pointed towards where I had just come from. He became angry and called someone else up. This screenshot's really small. Let me zoom in, sorry.
No, you're good.
I told him the same thing, that people were dying and we needed to stop the music. We needed to get help. We needed attention towards the mass, because I thought it was, if only those people were aware, maybe that we could do something. The other man grabbed my arm and told me that he would push me off the 15-foot platform with no sides if I didn't get down. I told him to help. I told him that people were dying. I showed him where. He wouldn't even look in the direction either. I was in disbelief. Here were 2 people that could actually do something, had the power to do something, cut the camera, call in backup, pause something. They did nothing. I look over the sinkhole. People were screaming, reaching out their hands towards me, calling for help. I I couldn't see the floor. The strangest thing happened in that moment. People began booing at me. They pointed their anger at me and unleashed a rage. I screamed. People were dying over and over. No one would listen. Somehow I ended up on the ladder going back down mindlessly. I should have ripped the camera to shreds. I looked at the other guard and he told in the eyes and told him he was the one responsible for countless of deaths. He did nothing. I went under the platform, called 911, and the only thing they said were that they were calling the medical team in. I told the operator over and over that we needed to stop the concert because we just needed a pause. We needed light, awareness of the deaths, nothing. A kid watched me under the platform, watched me break down in tears, explaining how I just saw crushed people stomped on unconscious. We watched the operator say nothing of use to me. I went out, not sure what to do. Suddenly, two men in red medical shirts, looking confused and lost, bumped into me. I explained for some reason that oh, I think it's crossed out because it's like she explained that like there's someone dead in the pit.
Right.
Wait, I explained everything. They told me that I've gone on and saw nothing. Two girls that were in the pit with me were sitting beside me, heard that and helped explain it where it was. We led them to it. They climbed the metal gates and went to those people. Those were the only ones working that brave that were brave that night. I had endless respect for those two men. We waited, the two girls and I, as we watched people being thrown over the railing, trying to escape the cage that we've been in.
I mean, the only thing I can say is, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many things wrong with the situation. First of all, 50,000 people in this area that's not big enough to hold 50,000 people is a problem. Clearly, there was not enough staff at the event. Thirdly, all the shitty human beings in the crowd who did nothing except make the situation worse, fuck you. Like, you're all responsible for what happened to these people. And it makes me fucking sick to think about that poor girl was trying her best to do everything, and it's just, I don't understand what the fuck is wrong with people. Like,
Also,
it's a concert, first of all. There's people dying. Like, that's way more important than anything going on the fucking stage. Like,
also, there are so many people like jumping on top of and like dancing on top of emergency vehicles. Not only that, people keep on defending Travis Scott, saying that like, oh, he didn't know what was going on. So many people there have came out and said that they were chanting for him to stop for help.
That's the thing. How would he not know? You're on the stage looking out at everyone.
There is literally a video of him saying, "Who's telling me to stop the show? Y'all know what you came to do."
He's a fucking piece of shit. I mean, there's just no excuse for it. You're a fucking horrible, disgusting person. Like, people died. Several people died. Like,
and so many people went into cardiac arrest.
Like, that's so scary to, like, put yourself in that situation. You can't do anything. Like, that's terrifying. And it's just the whole thing. It's tough to even place blame because there's so many different people at fault. Like,
right. There's so many different people at fault.
I don't even know who you blame.
Himself,
his team, like anyone involved. You're all just like shitty people.
But with this situation, the least he could be doing is he needs to pay these people's medical bills. He needs to pay for these people's funerals.
At least, yeah.
At least. And what's so frustrating is, you know, that he's not going to be the one accountable for it.
Right.
It's going to be coming back on like the person who planned the event. And
this is another thing that it's not similar at all, really, but it reminds me of something, that the Ariana Grande concert with the terrorist attack, and how the blame wasn't even placed on her, but she still felt responsible for it. Mm-hmm. The fact that he can't even take responsibility when it is his fault, but she took responsibility when it was not her fault. There was nothing she could have done to stop that.
Right. Like that. I can't even imagine like the trauma that like she went through from that
Right.
experience.
And it wasn't even her fault, but she still, I mean, she put on a huge festival after the fact for raising money for that situation, and he's just won't even acknowledge that he's in the wrong. Is crazy.
He made like a statement, but like not once in
It's
there
not
was
good
he
enough.
not once in there was he like I should have done better.
Right. Like, own up to
Which
your
I'm
mistake.
sure that like his team and like his like legal team is probably like advising him not to do so, but like
of course. But it's just
like
fuck at the end of the day, fuck what they're telling you. This is a bigger thing than your image. Like, this is affecting actual
and what is
people.
making me so angry is I saw so many fucking people releasing articles about like him saying like something like cute about Kylie on stage. Why are you making an article about that and not about like
and not what actually happened. Like, yeah.
I also want to read another post from someone else's experience there.
Please.
This lady's name is Madeline Eskins. She posted and said, I just left Astro World Festival, and let me say, as someone who's been to every Astrofest there's been, this one is completely different. It was awful. I passed out because of the people pushing against me so much that I couldn't breathe. Sam, which I'm assuming is like her partner or a friend, got people to apparently crowd surf my unconscious body to the security guard, and I got carried to a little section behind GA and put down on a stool thing. When I woke up, I had a water bottle in my lap and had no clue what happened. When I stood up, I looked around and people were getting carried out with eyes rolled into the back of their heads by security, bleeding from their nose and their mouth. I yelled, has anyone checked a pulse? The security guard, frantic, asked me to please help. I checked 2 people and one did not have a pulse. I told him that I was an ICU nurse. And then another security guard, hearing that, said, please come with us. He takes me to the part of the crowd behind GA where I see 3 bodies sprawled out and people who I assume were medics / medical staff doing CPR. I immediately see that there's not enough medics for this, so I relieve 1 medic of CPR and I ask for an ambu bag.
Yeah, it's a
I know what it is, I just don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Where the AED is, where the stretcher and ambulance is, where the fuck any of the shit is, and they essentially said there is none.
How do you put on a festival and not have these things?
Yes.
It seems like this is just so half-ass planned, and I can't even believe it.
She proceeds to say that there is 1 bag, 1 stretcher, 1 AED for 4 people who are pulseless and blue.
Jesus Christ.
People from the crowd were trying to help, teenagers doing CPR trying to help, but they're doing it incorrectly.
Right.
Then I see that there's other people doing CPR and people who still have a pulse because nobody has done a pulse check.
Jesus Christ, you're gonna kill someone by doing that. Like, what the fuck?
It was an absolute shit show. I lost Sam for I don't even know how long, but for the remainder of the concert, I was doing compressions, bagging, and helping people move people to stretchers and checking pulses on a stool thing. Wait, no. Where am I? I just go to the next page. Okay. Checking pulses on a new body as they were crowd surfed to where we were. People were trampled and crushed. There was no cell service to help call for more help. People were begging the crew and operating stage light stuff around us to stop the concert, and they wouldn't. I'm disappointed and sad. Finally, cops showed up with more stretchers and started getting people out, but I know that there's at least 2 individuals have been pulseless for 15 minutes minimum before they got to a stretcher.
What the fuck?
Let me pause this real quick. I need to close my door.
No, you're good.
So, completely irresponsible, completely underprepared.
I don't know how
shame
the hell
on
this
Travis.
happened.
Shame on all of the people that were involved in this event that obviously very clearly did not prepare for it. Like,
right. I just don't know how the hell his team let this happen. Like, are you all that fucking like incompetent to do your job. Like, I don't understand. It's the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard, honestly.
And
like,
then not only that, I saw like someone else talking about like this is not the first time that Travis has been like irresponsible like with his shows.
really?
They like posted a clip of one of his concerts, and he was encouraging someone to jump off the balcony into the pit. This person got paralyzed.
Yeah, duh. Like, what?
The video is like, oh, like don't be scared. This person was literally got paralyzed from that.
What the fuck, dude?
Like, how do you
It
be
just
that?
seems like he's an absolute fucking dumbass who should learn to just
Like, how are you that irresponsible?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I hope he feels fucking horrible.
yeah,
about
I mean,
this
how can you
situation.
just go on and pretend like that didn't happen? Like,
I have no words, and I
right,
am like hoping for comfort and peace for like everyone
right,
that was
like people
affected. Like,
died, like
and
that's
like my
crazy,
heart goes out to these people's friends and families. Like,
right? Like, I'm so sorry that
I
happened.
saw another article that 2 people that died were 14 and 16.
Are you kidding me?
Literal babies.
They're children, bro.
Children. Imagine like
How do you let that happen?
like that is
dude?
like such like a parent's nightmare, like your kid not coming
Right.
home.
I just don't know how people, like people in the crowd who are a part of the problem trampling. How could you let that happen? Instead of jumping on top of these people and trampling them, why don't you fucking do
Help.
something? Like, if I was standing in that pit and someone was on the ground and someone's stepping on them, I would beat the fucking shit out of someone for that. Like, they're just standing, they're like a part of the problem. I don't understand that. Like, do something. It's crazy. I don't get it. People are just fucking insane, and the whole, like I said, I don't know really who's at fault and who to blame, because there's just so many fucking people to blame. Like,
literally everyone is at fault.
Everyone who is
His
involved.
Team,
him,
the
crowd,
yeah,
event staff, literally everyone. So that's super fucked. I guess, yeah, that's insane. So
lastly, do you want to take the reins
on the I mean,
I feel my blood pressure rising.
Yeah. Okay, so basically what happened, this was about a week and a half ago, I would say. So there was a headline that broke. I think it originally was on TMZ first.
Yes, it was on TMZ first. Immediately after Zayn Malik had made a statement about a situation that happened.
Yeah. So we know Zayn and Gigi Hadid were together, and they have a kid together. And so it's no secret that like Gigi's mother Yolanda is just
fucking horrible person.
A horrible person. It's not a secret. It's not anything new. It's been that way for literally forever. And so there's several parts to this, but it just all started with there was a disagreement of some kind, and Yolanda decided to go to the press.
No, it wasn't a disagreement. It's Yolanda literally went into this man's home.
Right. An alleged disagreement, I should say.
Literally went into this man's home and started being a fucking bitch.
Right. And yeah, so
and started acting crazy.
Just started being nuts and decided to take that to news articles and tell them that Zayn physically hurt her. which is just a blatant fucking lie.
And let's just start with this. Instead of going to the police, she goes to TMZ.
Right. She did not go to the police. There was no report made at first. It was just TMZ. She's going there saying that he physically hurt her, and then she decides to make the police report and change the story that he didn't even physically hurt her.
Yes.
Which is just all the proof you need that
it
she's
was
a fucking liar.
Verbal harassment. Also, like, I'm not trying to like victim shame or anything. Like,
Right.
I always want to preference this with like, oh, like you should believe the victim.
Of course, but in this situation,
But
it's
in
just
this
blatantly a lie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a lie. It
Yes.
is, and it's
The girl went to TMZ.
It's a pathetic attempt at getting attention, and what this woman needs to understand is you will never be Kris Jenner. Like,
Yes.
no matter what, you will not be her. So stop trying to be relevant, because you are so irrelevant, and you're not going to make this big comeback by dragging someone's name through the mud. It's not going to happen.
Not only that, like, this could be like career ruining for Zayn.
If I was him, I would quite literally sue her. Like, that's illegal. You can't just make an accusation like that publicly. I would sue her. So,
what really blew my mind is she went into his home.
Right. His house, with having a problem with how he raises his daughter. Like,
yeah.
I can't. The whole thing is just fucking ridiculous. The woman is crazy. She thought Gigi was a lesbian when she was younger because she was on the volleyball team. How does playing volleyball make someone a lesbian, first of all? And, there's proof of, it's just not right. It's almost borderline abusive to sit there and starve your children and then teach them that it's dieting. That's abusive. I don't care who you are. And it's disgusting. It's not okay. And she's lucky her children still speak to her, because if that was something that happened to me, that's just not okay. But the woman's out of her fucking mind. I mean,
and not only that, like, the fucking like vile things she's like said and has.
She's just a horrible person. Yeah, I mean, she's just a bad person.
Including to like, is it about in Tuesday?
Yeah.
And, like,
yeah,
she's a horrible person.
Right. So the woman's out of her fucking mind. She's so desperate for attention that it's embarrassing. I'm like embarrassed for her. Like, you look so stupid right now.
Right. Zayn, we hear you. We see you. We stand with you.
Everyone, literally, that's the thing. Like, literally, no one believes her. Like, because it's just obviously a lie.
What makes me mad is like the people that are like believing this and agreeing with it, like, always are trying to make him look like this, like, aggressive.
Yeah, they try to make him look,
like, aggressive. Man, they always bring like race into it.
Of course. And yeah, it's the same old shit, and it's
fucking gross.
It's gross, and it's so sick, and anyone who's doing that, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Like, it's just not okay. Anyone with a fucking brain knows the truth, and like, it's really not that hard to sit there and think what really happened. It's not hard to kind of pick that apart. Yeah. Like,
but also I do want to like make a kind of a statement that I keep on seeing on social media people saying, oh, Zayn could have never done this because he's so like such like a sensitive because the man loves like minions, like, or because like he's so sweet doing this,
right?
I think that's like very dangerous for people.
It is
that like do experience like some sort of abuse, because that always is like something that people say like, oh
he could never do that
because of this.
Right.
That is very dangerous, like, to say.
Yeah.
However, again, I do not think Zayn was at fault in this situation, nor do I think he did like anything wrong.
Right. I think Yolanda is just so desperate for attention and will do anything to get it. And unfortunately for
Meant
her,
to
I
be on
just really don't
top.
think it worked. She got her 24 hours of fame, but she's still irrelevant, and she will always be irrelevant. Sorry. It's just the truth. So
I agree.
crazy, crazy stuff.
So sending lots of love to Zayn.
Yeah,
He
shout out
deserves it.
to Zayn. We love you.
We love you.
We stand with you. I think everyone, for the most part, it does. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with it, but yeah.
Should we wrap up with song of the week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want me to go first, or you got yours?
I got mine.
All right, let's hear it.
I've been streaming it for the last week or two. We gotta go with Casey Musgraves.
Yes.
Camera Roll. I think that's the song. It's a great tune. It's such a sweet song, actually, and I have been listening
so much
to it.
she don't. God, I love her.
Yeah, it's a great song. I've been listening to it on repeat for the last few days. So go stream it. Camera Roll, Casey Musgraves. Anyways, what about you?
I have to admit that I've been in my like fucking hopeless romantic era.
We love that.
And I've been listening to like stupid playlists that are specifically made for like romance.
Yeah, that's tough.
This one is literally from a playlist. This is so embarrassing.
I love it.
This playlist is fire as fuck.
Okay.
This girl's playlist is called Locking Eyes and Suddenly Nothing Else in the World Matters. But
that's so funny to me because I'm like the least like romantic person, so I just like
such like a hopeless romantic.
Not me. That's so funny though because like I just not like I don't know why. It's just maybe it's because I just never have really been in a real relationship and
me either.
That kind of affection.
Yeah, me either, but I'll dream of it.
Fair enough. I mean, but I don't know. Yeah, I respect though for sure.
This specific heartfelt love song.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper, Music to My Eyes.
Come on.
Your music to my eyes.
I'm not gonna say anything because we love Gaga.
Okay, tell me the song's not fucking fire.
It's literally not fire. You're gonna get me canceled. I'm not saying anything, Kirsten. I love Gaga. We love her. Just
literally, the song makes me think of like slow dancing in my kitchen.
That makes me want to vomit
by myself.
I just like that's not the life for me. Like I just even the thought that's another thing. Like the thought of slow dancing in your kitchen with your partner makes me so uncomfortable.
The thing is, would I ever? No.
Never. That's so awkward.
Would I ever? Absolutely not. Am I so like socially awkward? But like in my brain, I'm like, I'm such a hopeless romantic, but would I ever act on any of these things? No.
I know. I'm the same. I mean, I don't have any desire for that, but
I can dream about it.
Yeah, you can dream for sure. I love that for you. Great pick. So, all right. So funny.
Should we wrap things up?
The monsters.
The monsters.
They're gonna cancel me. I love Gaga. Don't get me wrong. I do. So.
What does Gaga know about?
Oh my god! Fucking stop.
That fucking video iconic. Yeah. Anyways.
God. Yeah. Anyways, should we wrap it up?
We really were off the rails.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.
Right. This has been great. This has been Let's Talk About It with Jamie and Kirsten. Tune in next week for some more fun. Be nice, do good. Treat people with kindness. Stay safe. All love. Peace and love.